Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner,
And our dog, Betty White.
your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jerry.
Betty White, our golden girl, is hanging here with us, and we're back for episode 60 of the Arner Adventures podcast. How lovely.
Yes, how lovely. 60. Wow. So, happy February, everybody. We're just 1 month more closer to that warm weather, which we're really excited about.
Oh, yay.
I guess that depends on where you live, but luckily we're in the South, so you get to about March, you're looking at some good weather.
Yeah, touch and go.
Yep.
But yeah, I do think that on the horizon is warmer weather for sure.
Definitely on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to put it.
Well, we are back for an episode of it just being me and Jer, no guests today, so that we can talk about a topic that we think is important. And you know what? It's not just that we think it is. It really is. It's love.
Love, yes. The universal, that universal, what do you call that? Something.
Emotion?
Yeah, emotion, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
That
mm-hmm.
everyone experiences.
Well, we hope they experience it.
Me too. In some form or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a dynamic situation. It just it ebbs and flows. All right. Anyway, I should just move on. Yeah.
They're like, where's the guest?
Okay, so Valentine's Day coming up, we thought it'd be a great time to talk about our love languages and how knowing your partner's love language is beneficial to interact with one another in a positive manner.
But first, we want to take a moment to ask you to share some love and subscribe to the podcast on the platform that you're listening to us on right now. In fact, we're just going to take a moment. And if you can just go ahead and hit subscribe. And I tell you what, while you're in there, if you can go ahead and leave us a 5-star review or rating, like I know in Spotify, you just can do the stars. Should not take you, but maybe 2 seconds. If you could leave us 5 stars, let's just pause right now and we're going to wait and let you do that. Okay, and we're back. It helps to keep this train moving forward and serves our content to others who may find it helpful. And we are so appreciative if you would do that for us.
We sure are. It's one of our favorite things when we get that little email.
Yeah.
Telling us how great we are.
I think everyone can relate to that. Everyone can relate. Positive affirmations.
That's okay. So let's go ahead and dig into today's topic, love languages. If you're unfamiliar, there are 5 love languages.
Yes. So love languages is something that was brought to our attention. Gosh, we're almost 10 years ago now.
Oh, yeah.
But someone was talking to us about it and we were like, oh my gosh, we have to learn more about this. But it's based on a book by Dr. Gary Chapman. It's called The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts, where he describes that there are 5 unique styles of communicating love. They're categories that he has distilled from his experience in marriage counseling, just years of working with couples. And he's come up with these 5 love languages.
Oh, yeah, they're great. And there's plenty of quizzes online to take the love languages quiz that gives you a Cliff Notes version of what your love language is. We will share that one that we took and that Dr. Chapman has in his show notes.
Yeah, we took the official one that's kind of recommended by Dr. Chapman. And that's the one we recommend. It was, there's a lot of weird ones out there, but we're going to link the one that is official and the one that we took without knowing anything about the book. You don't have to have the book. We just wanted to tell you kind of where it comes from. But we took this quiz the last time, I think, Jerry, you're better with years than I am, but I think it was around 2015-ish. I
I
think.
would say so. I think you're hitting the nail on the head with that. It's probably about that time.
Yeah, we were in a very different space in our lives. I mean, it was before our big transition in 2017 where we sold all of our stuff and, you know, tried to start working on ourselves better. And so it was interesting to take the quiz again recently and see the differences.
Oh, indeed. Because we all evolve. So
Mhm.
it was fun well, a lot of these things we do, it's fun to look back and go, oh, that's where we were.
Yeah.
And of course, this was no exception. And that's a, a, a pretty good little ways back now, too. So that was, yeah, it was really neat.
This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth.
Sleep is super important to us, as it should be for you, too.
You spend a third of your life in bed. Why not invest in making it a safe, non-toxic place?
Our top pick for sustainable, eco-friendly sheets, and Oprah's favorite too, by the way,
Enough said.
are Cozy Earth bamboo sheets.
The bamboo weaving prevents the skin from becoming sweaty, yuck, maintaining the perfect temperature and keeping you comfortable while you sleep. We love our sheets.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, head on over to arnerventures.com/Cozy Earth to grab our code to save 40% on your Cozy Earth purchase.
40%. There's no better discount code than that, folks. Even the Cozy Earth sales aren't giving you 40% off. I'm not even sure that Oprah gets this kind of a discount code. It's good for anything site-wide on Cozy Earth.
That is arnerventures.com/Cozy Earth to grab that link and code. It's also in the show notes.
Now back to the show.
Let's go through what the 5 love languages are. And I'm going to start with number 1. It's words of affirmation. People who have this as their love language essentially feel loved by hearing compliments, words of appreciation, verbal encouragement, I love you, etc.
Right. And before we move on, I want to make sure that we talk about the fact that and we're going to talk about what we are and what we came to, but if words of affirmation is your love language, or if your partner, let's just say that if your partner's love language is words of affirmation, we do encourage you to mean it. Don't fill them with a bunch of BS because you know that words of affirmation is their thing. It just means that you really do need to tell them how you really feel and appreciate them once in a while.
Like
right?
that time I walked around with a list and I just kept.
Yeah. Yeah. So number 2 is quality time. People whose love language is quality time feel the most love when their partner actively wants to be with them. When they feel their partner is actively listening, makes eye contact, they're fully present, engaging with them. So this person does not like it when they're talking to someone, like, I don't know, over dinner or whatever, and they're staring at their phone, or they're doing something else and they know that they're not engaged with them. I think we can all relate to that a little bit.
I think so. But as time goes, we're all more and more engaged with our phones. So, it's like, it's easy to slip into.
But something that we do, and gosh, like at dinner, we don't have our phones. We put them on silent, put them in another room, because it is easy to go, oh, wait a minute, let me go and put that down. And then you start getting in a rabbit hole of whatever. But anyway, okay. On to number 3, Jer.
On to number 3, acts of services. People who feel love through acts of service love it when their partner goes out of their way to make their life easier. Help you with tasks. When you're sick, bring you soup. Making your coffee for you in the morning. Or picking something up from the store when you're really busy.
Yes. Number 4 are gifts. And, gifts is pretty straightforward. If gifts is your love language, you want and need tangible symbols of love. It's not necessarily about the monetary value, but the symbolic thought behind them. So it's a feeling of love to receive something that you can hold from your partner.
I got a really pretty good example about this. It's going a little bit different between you and I, but we have some backyard cats who love to gift us with with their prey. Now, and this isn't something we can hold in our hands. I think they think we probably could. The notion behind it from them is just one of love. But
you're so right. And let's just talk about this really quick, because you're kind of bringing it to like the animal kingdom. We did read one time, and if you're new here, we have a kitty colony of these stray kitties that we're sort of helping take care of. It's a whole thing on our island, but nevertheless, We did read that the reason they do that is because they think they're helping you, because they think that you can't hunt for yourself, and they're like, oh, okay, let me make sure that I'm bringing them food or bringing them things so that they know that I'm trying to take care of them. So when they started doing it, of course I freaked out, but I had to learn about the psychology part of it, of the animals, and that's it. So then I was like, oh, that's cute, but Jared, I need you to scan the yard before I go out.
Well, yeah, which I do. I
Mhm.
scan the yard in the morning with a flashlight because I'm usually out before dark to make sure they
Which is a nice act of service, by the way.
it's something I try to do every day and make sure their late night shenanigans don't bring them into hunting down any mice or birds and
That's
laying them
right.
in front of our door.
That's
And I
right.
know they mean well, but so anyway, that's just a good example of they have an idea of gifting, and that's
Yeah.
their love language to us, and that was pretty neat to actually kind of talk about that. That brings a little different element into it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Number 5, physical touch. People with physical touch as their love language feel most loved when they have physical affection or intimacy, like holding hands, hugging, kissing, cuddling on the couch, and of course, sex with their partner.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, you can get really deep psychologically into each of these love languages, which the book does. We are not medical professionals. We're going to stay sort of broad level here, but you can really dig in more if you're interested. And like we said, we'll link the book down in the show notes for you. Well, should we go over our results from the quiz?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's just say that the quiz is pretty simple, takes about 5 or so minutes, but it does ask a bunch of questions about the way that you respond to love, some of the things that you enjoy and all of that. But it takes the 5 love languages and it tells you what your number 1 is. It's sort of like a pie chart and how much of that is one of them, and then it goes down from there. So Jerry, you took it, and what was your number 1 love language?
Well, number 1 was quality time, 37%. So that's over 1/3 of the whole package for me is quality time. That's what really does it for me.
Yeah, well, that Dr. Chapman says, about that, we did go over a little bit, is this uninterrupted and focused conversations. One-on-one time is critical. And if you're like, for me, this is like actions that I can take to fulfill your love language, is to create special moments together, take walks and do small things with you. Weekend getaways are huge. Just like that one-on-one time really fills your love cup.
Yep. And it's I know it's something that I think we've always done a lot of little weekend getaways and stuff, and those always stand out to me, those as things that were fun. And yeah, that's the big one for me. Close behind that was words of affirmation. That's 30%.
Which I thought was interesting. Your number 1 was 37. Your number 2 is 30. So yeah, it's not far behind were words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And Dr. Chapman, of course, says that's encouraging, affirming, appreciating, empathizing, listen actively, and the actions that I can take to love you and fulfill that love language is to send an unexpected note, a text, or card, genuinely encouraging you and often.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if I would have consciously thought that, hey, that's kind of important to me, but when you go through this test and you're answering these questions, I just noticed that, oh yeah, I prefer those little things, those notes, those words of affirmation. I guess it's just something that does it for me,
Yeah.
And so yeah, those were the main 2. Think about that. That takes up 67% of the whole thing. So that's 2/3 of the whole package of the 5 categories for me. Yeah,
and the last 3.
It breaks down with physical touch at 17%, acts of service at 10%, receiving gifts at 7%.
Yeah,
and that rounds out the other 1/3.
Yeah, it does. It surprised me that receiving gifts is very low at the bottom. I think,
right.
Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit more.
Yeah. We've talked about me, enough about me. Let's get over to yours, Shannon.
This episode is brought to you by Southern Oak Artisan.
Southern Oak Artisan makes 100% natural soy candles that are not only aesthetically pleasing, but are safe to breathe, since they are made with non-toxic ingredients, and they're not overwhelming like other candles you may be used to.
Between morning brew, lemon bake, lavender, there's just so many scents to choose from.
Southern Oak Artisan 100% natural soy candles are handmade in our home state here in North Carolina, but lucky you, they ship all over the U.S.
Yes, lucky indeed. Head over to arneradventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan, where you can grab our discount code and link to save on your soy candle purchase.
That's arneradventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan. It's also in the show notes.
And now back to the show. Okay, well, mine is, I think, really interesting because it's sort of almost completely divided between 4 of them, but I had let's just start with this. I had 0% receiving gifts. Do you know how different that is from like 2015? I wish I had the number, but
100%? No, it's not.
No, it was not. I don't even think it was. Well, it might have been like 3. It was definitely
no,
not.
it wasn't that high, right? But it was. You did register something that time, whereas now you got 0%.
0% receiving gifts.
Yeah.
But okay, so my number 1 at 33% is acts of service. That doesn't surprise me at all.
No, me neither. I that's you, and I'm not surprised that tops out of the percentages of the 5 different categories for you. And the doctor says using phrases like "I'll help." They want to know you're with them, partnered with them. Do chores together and make breakfast in bed. Go out of your way to help alleviate their daily workload. Those kind of things. So
yeah, and I'd say you do a really good job of that because we wash dishes together.
Yeah,
and I mean, you do a lot. I mean, I know that the importance of helping to lift my workload, and I just think you're really good about that. But I think you're also really good about it because you know how important that is to me.
well, thanks. Yeah, I think I do, and it just works really good. We have a way of working together that a lot of that has to do with just a lot of time to work it out. But I think we know what to do when, and we share in just about all of our chores and whatnot. So, yeah.
Well, and then number 2 is quality time. And, we went over that with you.
Well, yeah, the quality time is uninterrupted and focused conversations, one-on-one time, creating special moments, taking walks. We love doing all those things.
And the weekend getaways.
And we did talk about weekend getaways. So,
so I like that we're
both up there on that.
Yes, which I think is really advantageous.
That's our best crossover thing, which is neat because then we know, I think we work on it anyway, but now we know that's something we really should focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me at the same 23%.
Yeah.
It was so acts of service and then quality time and physical touch. Quality time and physical touch were ranked even for number 2 for me.
Dr. Chapman says about physical touch, nonverbal, using body language and touch to express love. And hug, kiss, hold hands, show physical affection often, and make intimacy a thoughtful priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you do a good job of that too.
I think we do too. Yeah. And so we're both up there. You had more of a balance between your 5, a good even balance.
Yeah.
On your 5. Yeah.
Okay. So number 4, which is just under that at 20%, which I think is still, again, a good chunk. Is words of affirmation, which we went over that with yours.
We did,
Dr. Chapman gave us some suggestions of how you can help someone with that love language in those ways.
Encouraging them and affirming, just being affirmative, empathizing and whatnot. And we talked about the sending notes, little stuff like that. And I think that probably means a lot to a lot of people. Nice little texts, cards.
Yeah.
Just encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's those things are really nice. And at 0% receiving gifts. I'm kind of proud of that.
That's pretty cool. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in our lifestyle, it's really perfect.
Well,
actually.
yeah, it really works in our lifestyle. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
I will say that the first time we took this quiz, look, it's not like we'll just put it out there. It's not like we've had marital problems, but I think that we were like uh
ships passing in
ships
the night, I
passing
think
in the
is the phrase.
night.
But
Yes.
not, yeah, because the first time we took it is when we ran a business that encompassed our lives 24/7.
Yeah.
So
We just didn't work on ourselves or our relationship with each other.
it was hard to help that because we really
I know.
we didn't have a very structured life at all, and we're busy all the time. And
Mhm.
so it was very hard to work on this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that did probably opened our eyes at that point. And once again, it's good to have this reaffirmation.
I also want to point out something that I think that we have both seen in our lives, and I'm going to say it because I think it's the sweetest thing ever. And then you do it for me when it works out that I'm going to have coffee. But uh, your dad used to always take your mom's coffee mug and put it on top of the coffee maker so that it would be somewhat warm when she got her
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
And so then you started doing that for me.
Yep.
And I just think that's the sweetest thing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I know that was something that worked out kind of good, you know. It's
yeah,
yeah, because I don't think I realized how good that could make you feel, and it's an easy little gesture. It
right.
just goes to show you it is the little things in a lot of cases.
It really is.
Yeah.
And again, it's learning more about how each other respond to things and being selfless, but also expressing what you need to feel loved. Because I think
Yeah.
we can, everyone, I say we as in we as humans, can so I wish he would. Why doesn't he know that, or why doesn't she know that I need this? Like I shouldn't have to explain it, but you do, especially when you see how we respond more positively to different things like act of service and words of affirmation and
Yeah.
all of that. What if mine was completely gifts and I never told you that, and you of course never got me things, and I would be like, he does not love me, or I
Yeah.
wish he would show me in a different way. So
Yeah.
I think that this is really good, a really good quiz anyway.
Yeah.
But, I just really like that we have the time now that we really do devote to our relationship.
Well, I do too, and that we know that the time we do have, how to spend it, and
Yeah.
and that you do need to work on these things. It also makes something somewhat tangible.
Mhm.
Just seeing it in words like this and broken down into 5 categories, something tangible that out of something that's not really tangible. And I
Mhm.
don't think a lot of times people know how to really, what is that love? It's just, well, it's just there. You don't really
Yeah.
have a system for it. This kind of gives you a little, I guess you could say, a system or a little way to break it down.
Yeah. It's
Makes it,
attainable.
yeah, that's right. It's
Yeah.
attainable. It makes it somewhat tangible too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that this episode, of course, fits nicely right in before Valentine's Day, but we've had this on the list of episodes to do for the longest. I mean, I think it was like even last year we were like, oh, we should definitely do one about love languages because, we are a married couple who works together, who made this big lifestyle change together. And people have a lot of assumptions about things. They think, a lot of people think I forced you into this, downsizing life. And so I do like when we talk about our relationship because I think it's another way that makes us a little bit more authentic and putting it out there of some of the things that we are working on and that we may struggle with or that we're trying to improve on. And so, yeah, I hope that this episode helps you guys. And I hope that it inspires some of you to maybe take the quiz to learn more about what your needs are yourself, or so that you can communicate them to your partner and even people in your life. They don't have to be romantic partners, but it helps you to understand the way that you interact with other people in relationships. But I'm going to bring this up again about the gifts. I think we have pretty well established with our friends and family, do not bring us gifts. Like, it does not mean that you like us more or whatever. In fact, it's really going to annoy us because there's going to be more things we have to get rid of.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a romantic partner of people who understand, what your needs are.
That's right. Yeah. No, not material thing. And well, I have accepted bricks of gold at times, but I don't consider that a material item. It is something, it's a tangible item, but yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. But no, but seriously, no, I think people do kind of understand that with our lifestyle now, and
Yeah.
know that that is not a big thing for us. This is a great conversation starter, to say the least, to just better understand those in our lives that we want to have a deeper connection with.
Yeah.
And reiterate what Shannon was saying. I do think you can. This is, of course, designed on love, like romantic love, but you really can. It really can cross over into relationships of whatever kind that you have in your everyday life. Shannon and I are going to have another drink from our loving cup. And
that's right.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it. You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at arneradventures.com, or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.